Warm-hearted viewers, this is Start ANEW on his coming broadcasting network. The term Start ANEW is an acronym which stands for sunlight, temperance, air, rest, trust in God, alternative medicine, nutrition, exercise, and water. Today, we are honored to feature Dr. Samuel Deason on our program.
Hello again to an episode of SCBN's Start ANEW program. We'll be sharing with you now something that is very timely. It's about kidney diseases. It has been one of the top 10 causes of death in the country, and people are getting sicker and sicker and having to do dialysis. And we'd like to share with you some of the things that have worked in our hospital, and we hope that you will have some idea of what you can do to help maybe delay or prevent the progression of your kidney disease, and even help those who have the problem and maybe in your place. This was developed in our place in Subic. This is a former U.S. Naval Hospital. Its name then was Subic Bay Medical Center. Now its name is George Dewey Wellness and Medical Center. And patients would come to us who don't want to do dialysis or are doing dialysis and wants to have a chance to either lengthen the duration between dialysis or even get off dialysis. In med school, we are taught once you're on dialysis forever, or do transplant. Now, we'll share with you that there are other things out there that can be done. Now, one patient we have, his name is, well, I won't say his name, but he's a 65-year-old male from Guagua, Pampanga. And he came to us, his creatinine was about 1,400. And when he came, he didn't want to do dialysis. His red blood cell was also very low. You see, when your kidneys are damaged, there's a chemical that's responsible for producing red blood cell that is also affected. And he didn't want to do injection or transfusion. So he was advised to do dialysis because in our experience, we'd like to do the treatment when the creatinine is less than 1,000. And we have some sort of protocol that we follow. If your creatinine is about less than 400, 300, you can do it outpatient. We'll teach you what to do. You can do it at home. But if it's a little bit higher, we work hard because you have to be confined with us so we can do it. But if it's about 700 to 1,000, we tell them, you do dialysis first, so that we'll work with a lesser level of creatinine. But he didn't want to do, so he stayed with us, and what happened was, even the first week or so, it even went up to 1,600. So we told her, please do dialysis. He didn't want to. He collapsed twice during that time he was with us. So finally, he signed, and then we did our work for him. He stayed for about 3 weeks, and he went out with his creatinine at 400. What did we do? I will share with you later. So we did dietary restrictions, low fat, low protein, more complex carbohydrate diet. We did whole body charcoal wrap, and we have a lecture about that, or demo, in which you wrap the body with a cellophane and with charcoal, or you can use clay if you don't have access to charcoal, and for about 2 to 3 hours. And that helped. See, when your kidneys are damaged, we can utilize other exit points to clear out toxins. It's like when the door is closed, you open the windows. And the song, when God closes the door, He opens the window. So our body do have backup system to do that. So after a month, he came back. His creatinine level was at 200 plus. Then the next month, it was normal, and he would come back bringing his farming produce, because I told him go out and work in the field. So he'd sweat out more than 4 hours, and he worked. But see, a normal kidney patient is already too weak to work or exercise when they come to you, because they're anemic, their protein is being eliminated out through the urine, they're in very weak. So to have them exercise or maybe sweat out by their own strength is going to be impossible. So there are passive way of sweating. Now if you use a steam bath, you only use a steam bath or a sauna maybe 20 to at the most 30 minutes. That's not enough to lower the level of creatinine that the patient is supposed to let go. If it's 200, yes, maybe a simple steam bath will be enough. But if it's in a 500, 600, 700 range, a steam bath for 20 to 30 minutes is not going to cut any ice. It's not really going to work that well. Case number 2, this guy is a heart case. He was supposed to be for quadruple heart bypass. So they did an angiography, and unfortunately, his kidneys went into shock. He had anaphylactic reactions from the dye, the angiography dye, and he almost died. And so they had to do dialysis. But they couldn't do the normal dialysis. The normal dialysis is hemodialysis because his heart was reacting. So he had to do peritoneal dialysis for 2 years. And the emergency surgery cannot be done. They said, no, we cannot do emergency surgery. You just have to take your medications. So for 2 years, he was doing dialysis almost every day. He was spending 75 to 100,000 monthly and had to sell a lot of his belongings, and he tried to kill himself 3 times. Unsuccessful, of course. So he came to us, and he'd heard about us, and he came. And since he was already doing peritoneal dialysis, now the intestinal tract has what we call peritoneum. If you have eaten the goto, okay, that is your tualya, the tualya if you've heard of it. That's a membrane in the intestines that links all of them, and there are lymph nodes there, and lymph nodes filters the blood. So when they do a peritoneal dialysis, they have a fluid, a dextrose type fluid that goes into the tube in the abdomen, and then you open the tube and it pours out. So you're making the peritoneum wash the blood, force the lymph nodes there to wash the blood, then to throw it away. So that's the second type of dialysis. The other one is hemodialysis, wherein the patient is connected to a machine, either through a fistula here or to a tube here, and for 4 hours the machine cleanses your blood as it goes back. So in his case, it was peritoneal dialysis. So came to us, I look at him, oh, you're doing dialysis. This is what you do at home. Came back the next week, oh, there's improvement. Then he didn't come back. I thought he was dead. Now, during that time, we were doing a sundown worship at the boardwalk. We do have a boardwalk also in Subic. And that time, the American group was coming to take over the hospital and bought it from the, leased it from the Subic Bay Freeport Zone. And the Singaporean group were moving out. We didn't know what the Americans are intending, whether we will stay in the hospital or not, because we don't think they're that open to alternative medicine. When we first came in there, the doctors really hated us. It took us 5 years to open their mind. Now, it's still the same doctors, but a different management. So we were thinking, maybe the Americans are not going to be open to what we're doing. So we asked for a sign. This guy came walking out, and I haven't seen him for 5 months. And I said, are you Dr. Dizon? I said, yes. Oh, I'm your heart patient. Oh, wonderful. How are you? I'm doing fine. I'm off my medications. All my tests are normal. And I'm not doing dialysis anymore. So I said, oh, the sign. Come here and do testimony. And so he shared. He followed the protocol. I put him on a kidney supportive program. And within a few weeks' time, he was off his dialysis. He was so happy. It was humbling when you see a patient who medicine couldn't do anything about, just go through the motion doing it, and then he does it. I made him buy a sauna suit. He would wear it for 3 to 4 hours, and he drink a lot of water and a little bit salt, because when you are sweating for 3 to 4 hours, sodium goes down. And he followed the diet program, and not only did his kidneys revive, but also his heart block was eliminated. So he was so happy. See, God works in mysterious ways. Sometimes He uses simple things to effect extraordinary results. Okay, so in August 2002, he came back, visited us, and he was doing fine after that. He just touched base, and we did a medical outreach in the Dalupihan where he is at. He came and showed himself. Okay, the kidneys, there are 2 kidneys, the left and the right. Hold them up high, so clean and bright. The main job of the kidney is to filter the blood, but it has other work. When the kidneys are damaged, you either replace the kidney or you replace the work of the kidney. So there's no other way. The kidneys are very important. Okay, it has 6 major functions. 1, to eliminate fluid. 2, to eliminate toxins. 3, to control blood pressure. 4, to make your body produce red blood cells from the bone marrow. 5, to control the sodium, potassium, calcium, phosphorus. So it eliminates what should not be and then retains what should. And protein and sugar should be conserved, should not be thrown out to the urine. Now, at any given time, the kidneys work 100%, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's a very faithful organ. And if you have the two kidneys, at any given time, 1/3 is cleansing the blood, 1/3 is resting, 1/3 is preparing to cleanse the blood. So the creatinine is a chemical that is thrown out by the body and it's a normal metabolite. It's like you inhale oxygen. When you exhale, carbon dioxide. If I inhale more, I'm going to produce more carbon dioxide. If I eat more, I'm going to produce more creatinine. If I eat more often, I'm going to produce more creatinine. So one patient we had, he couldn't eat much, and he was surprised his creatinine was going down. He didn't feel like eating. He said, "Doctor, my creatinine was 900. And then it started going down up to 300, and I couldn't eat." I said, "Yes, because you're not processing food, therefore you know metabolites, very little metabolites." What does that tell you when it comes to application? If your creatinine is way, way too high, a simple fasting can lower that internally. Is it expensive? How much is a dialysis costing nowadays? 3 to 4,000, I think. And you're going to be doing that for 2 to 3 times a week for the rest of your life. If your kidneys are damaged, if 1/3 of the kidney is damaged, you still have 2/3 working. So you check the creatinine is still normal. Okay, what if 2/3 are damaged? Well, you still have 1/3 here and 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 of the other kidney. What if the whole kidneys are damaged? You can still survive with these kidneys. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Your creatinine will still be normal. What if that remaining kidney, 1/3 is damaged? You still have 2/3. Creatinine only goes up when 80 to 90% of kidneys are malfunctioning. So let's say the creatinine is 133 and it's 140, 150, 160. That means 80 to 90% of your kidneys are malfunctioning. So you think, it's only 200, it's no big deal. It's already that big. You may not see it in that level of the creatinine, but nephrologist realizes the moment the creatinine goes up, a big part of your kidneys are not working the way it should. So what did he call that? When your creatinine starts going down, even if at 150, 160, 170, or less than 200 even, they call that end-stage kidney failure. Now when you watch a movie, it says the end, it's the end. So what do you do? Transplant is the advice. They may not transplant it now because it's only 200, 300, 400, but eventually they say transplant. How much is a transplant? 1.5 M or beyond. And then when you're doing transplant, it has to be, we have a law here in the Philippines that says you have to get it from a relative. Medical tourism was supposed to boom in the Philippines. People from other countries were coming here to buy kidneys. But of course, a Caucasian can say, he's my relative, no? So they stop it. But the problem is, just because your relative gave you his kidney, does not mean your body will absorb it or accept it. So you have to be given what we call anti-rejection drugs. And this drug costs about from 120 to 180,000 monthly. Okay, how long do you take that drug? Well, as long as you need to. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. But after doing all these things, your body can still reject that kidney in 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 1 day. So it's like playing, the gambling. You don't know if you're going to get, or buying a lotto ticket. So when you gamble the 1.5 M and then you 120 to 180,000 monthly, and then after a year, 2 years, 3 years, your body rejected it, you're back to the drawing board. You go back to dialysis. So it's a gamble. It's a very, very expensive gamble. And this is why there was a patient in our hospital. He was a med tech there, and he was a young man, and he saw his creatinine was 1,000. He killed himself. He hung himself. He saw the patients doing dialysis. They'd come, they look toxic, they look haggard, they look terrible. See, the 6 functions of the kidney, medicine has to treat them. For the water, what do they do? Limit fluid intake. Okay? Kidney disease is number 10 as cause of morbidity, and number 9 as cause of death among Filipinos. That is too high. And for you to be able to do a kidney transplant, you have to be a millionaire. And it's a millionaire's disease. It's very prevalent. They expect it to keep doubling. 3 causes of kidney disease: diabetes, hypertension, and chronic. It's an autoimmune disease. Your immune system attacks the kidneys. So risk factors: obesity, lifestyle, poor diet, lack of exercise, and foods rich in carbohydrates, sodium, salt, and fats. So you do laboratory, you find out you have a problem. Sometimes everything is normal, but then you notice your creatinine starting going up. One of the first things that one should see is the urine test. See if there's protein there, especially the 24-hour urine test. If there's frothy, bubbling thing in your urine, your kidneys may not be doing a good job. So by the time we see the creatinine go up, it's already almost too late. Signs and symptoms: well, you wake up in the morning, your face is puffy, and you get up, and then later in the afternoon, your legs are swollen. That's because you're either unable to eliminate fluid out, or your protein has gone down. So the protein prevents the blood and the fluid to leak out into outside the blood vessels. Then toxin buildup, then you get all sorts of reactions. So medicine will try to treat all those 6 things. So you don't have fluid retention, you tell you drink maybe 1 to 2 glasses of water a day. So the patient looks like prunes, huh? Dried, dark, and smells of urine. Because they don't urinate anymore most of the time. If you're giving only 1 to 2 glasses of water, how much are we supposed to drink? 8 to 10. But he's not able to take it because he cannot eliminate it. Okay. For high blood pressure, they're given medications that unfortunately will damage the kidney more. For sodium, potassium, calcium, they're told, okay, no salt. Stay away from latundan, bananas, and certain fruits because of the potassium. Because we are able to drink 8 glasses of water. We can eat latundan, we can eat all these things because we can dilute it and eliminate the water anyway. But for a patient with kidney failure, he's allowed only a certain amount of fluid, and he's actually having a hard time eliminating it. So if you eat latundan or some herbs or some fruits, potassium can go up, they can have a heart attack. What else? For red blood cell buildup, if it's really low, then they have transfusion. Then later they're given injections to maintain or to increase the production of red blood cell. For protein depletion, they said, oh, no eating meat, no eating protein, except maybe egg white. So that's allowed. So the patient, at the end of the day, when they do all these things, their high blood pressure is elevated, or their blood pressure is elevated, and their red blood cell is low. So they're anemic but high blood. No? Then they've got swollen legs. They're already maintaining very little water, and they're getting swollen legs. And then when they do dialysis, they come out looking very, very weak. How long do they do dialysis? 4 hours. How often? 2 to 3 times a week. What about a kidney? How long does it work? 24 hours, 7 days a week. How can 4 hours of dialysis meet the need of a 24-hour natural kidney, and 3 times a week meet the need of a 7 days a week function of the kidneys? And I've seen patients whose creatinine was about 1,000. After dialysis, it just went down to 100. And the normal is about 133. So it's still 900, you know. And there have been patients whose creatinine is 1,000 after dialysis, it was still 1,000. And there have been patients with 1,000 creatinine after dialysis, it went down to up to 1,200. So we asked the nephro, Doctor, why did it go up? Oh, the chemical we're mixing so that the blood will not clog up in the machine is causing damage to his kidneys. So if you have 20% functioning kidney, as you continue dialysis and your medication and everything, you're also destroying the kidneys. So there's no hope. One patient told us, Doc, we don't look and feel normal anymore. We're just looking at each other like zombies, you know. And there'll be 20 of us, and after a few weeks, there'll be 19. Then after maybe a month, there'll be 18, 16. We tell, hey, where's Brad so-and-so? He went ahead. Yeah. And my heart bleeds when I see patients doing that. You see the blood vessel here so engorged because, you know, they have changed the pathway of the veins. and you don't see hope in their eyes. You can't see hope. I asked my friend, a nephrologist in Puerto Princesa, I said, is the natural healing program working? Because we did a natural program in Puerto Princesa, and she's the only nephrologist there, and she was getting results. It was an accidental discovery on our part, but it was fascinating when you see creatinine going down and the patient was not even doing dialysis. So this is the setup. This is from a book, Internal Medicine by Dr. Harrison. When you have kidney failure, you go to the hospital for dialysis and you go do transplant. If the transplant doesn't work, you do dialysis or you go back to the hospital. This is the life cycle of a patient with kidney failure. You either do transplant, replace the kidney, or you replace the work of the kidney. If it doesn't work, you keep replacing the work of the kidney. You're going to be doing the dialysis forever. One patient says, if I do this natural thing, how long do I do this? I told them, how long is your kidney malfunctioning? That patient we were talking about, his kidney started functioning again, both of them. Now, it's easy to lower creatinine, but making the kidney work again, that is from God. God has to be the one to do that. We cannot do that. No? There are some techniques that we've seen work, but only God makes the plant grow. You can plant the seeds, but only God can make the plant grow. Two patients who are in their 18 and 20 years old, they say, I don't want to not eat this. I want to eat things. Get me someone to get me a transplant. 2 days, 3 days of eating rich food, and he died. Both of them, two of them. And yet we were getting results with what we were doing. So they'd rather die than control their appetite. For the toxins, dialysis is done. For fluid buildup, limit water intake, control blood pressure, so patient looks like a zombie. He couldn't even eat salty food. They really don't look good, okay? So detox is the key. In alternative medicine, cleansing is the number one you always hear. Cleansing diet, cleansing herb, cleansing, all sorts of cleansing. And we have done lectures on detoxification. For those who listen to our lectures, you'd have an idea. We give them 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. The dinner is before 6. If they're in terrible shape, we blend all food so that it's easy to eliminate. And we concentrate more on vegetables, not too much on fruits, because potassium can be high when you eat too much fruits. We allow fish for those who are very matigas ang ulo, okay? But normally, our source of protein would be a vegetable, maybe raw egg white. If the albumin is down, then we have no choice. We can either transfuse albumin, but that only lasts for a few days before it's gone, or we have to give raw egg white. Inspirational writer Ellen G. White used to say, yeah, you can give raw egg for those with severe debilitating condition, but make sure it's organic. You never know what you're getting with the egg. So we do cleansing diet, we give enzyme therapy, and the purpose is to clean up the intestinal tract and to make the blood more pure by detoxification. So we have what we call raw vegan diet. This is given because it's a reversal diet. The purpose is to give the body cell food, nutrients, phytochemicals, enzyme, fibers, alkaline pH, antioxidants, and anti-cancers and other things. It has been shown that when you give a patient raw food, the kidneys function started getting better. Not only is a detoxification process, but it also is a rejuvenating process. You want to reverse aging, you want to reverse damage, give things that still has life in it. Then we have the liquid diet, in which case it's faster because you have in liquid form, but since the patient has a tendency to overload fluid, you have to be careful because he can have swelling from the legs and it can go up abdomen into his lungs. So you want to watch out that when you give this kind of diet, you're also eliminating fluid out. Some other means, as I said, if the door is closed, open the windows. And there are other exit point for fluid and for toxins to go out. Then the water diet for severely compromised cases, and then modified diet. Modified diet is, let's say you're eating normally, but in the evening, you just eat fruits or salads or liquids or water. It is very powerful and it lowers, or maybe once a week you do a fruit diet, or once a week you do a salad diet, or once a week you do a soup diet. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's just fruits or soup or so. So you modify. Some patients can do the severe dieting immediately. So you can modify. Maybe you start, okay, you want to lose weight, maybe on Saturdays, you just have fruits. Or maybe on Sundays, you just have salads or something. But usually the simplest thing to do is the evening meal. Change the evening meal. You will already get results with that. So the concept is clean the system to decrease the sequence of dialysis. Let's say your creatinine is 1,000 and you did dialysis on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, it was 1,000, it goes back to 800. Then by Wednesday, it's already 1,000 again. And the normal is 133. So by Friday, it's again 1,000. But what if you did natural program after your dialysis? 1,000, it goes to 800. You were able to maintain that 800 until Wednesday because you did other things. Okay? Then Wednesday, you did the dialysis, it go down to 600. And you were able to do natural things and you were able to maintain it until Friday, until 600. Then you do dialysis, it goes down to 400. Do you see that eventually you're able to get your patients off dialysis? I mean, so the 200 to 300, why should you do dialysis? You just do a sauna suit or maybe go jogging. You'll eliminate the level of creatinine. Number two, if possible, increase the kidney's functional parts. So that's where we do the acupuncture, the raw food, certain herbs and supplements so that maybe you can stimulate the kidney's function to go higher. Okay, so we give raw food, we give something called colloidal silver, sometimes we even give live cell or stem cell growth factors that you inject or take orally so that the kidneys that have shrunk can start growing. And we have been able to do that with God's help. So some herbs that we use, we'll give herbs to clean the blood, bitter herbs, ampalaya, malunggay, dita, serpentina. So these are all blood cleansers. So they help clean up. And charcoal. There's a medicine in the market in Mercury Drug called cremicin. Cremicin. They put it on food, nephrologist prescribes it, and you find it's activated charcoal. So usually if you mix it with your food, your body will not absorb much of your food that you're eating because the charcoal binds it. Because charcoal binds many things. And so then your creatinine will be lower because you're not eating, you're not absorbing all this food. Because every time you process food, you produce creatinine. That's weird. What I do is I give it 2 hours after meals. But it's working for them. Maybe you can use that. But you have to drink more water when you do that. Then liquid chlorophyll helps build up the red blood cell, the blood. The patient that didn't want to do injection or transfusion or dialysis, and his creatinine was 1,006, his kidneys were helped and the blood also were helped because he was using ampalaya. Every day, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day, he was doing ampalaya juice. And we did not even need to inject him. His red blood cells started going up. His kidneys started functioning. There was an element of sacrifice in that. Ampalaya is not tasty, but maybe that's God's way. God's way teaches us to develop self-control. What else? We give something to stimulate so that they are energized, they don't feel yucky. How can they exercise if they feel so weak, right? Then we give something for the blood pressure control. We give coenzyme Q10 for energy, garlic, cayenne, celery, then something for the kidney to work better. But we don't really want the kidneys to work too hard because it's still weak. Some doctors will give diuretics to a kidney that is already malfunctioning. That's like telling someone to run the marathon when their legs are broken. So we tell them, no, use the other ways to eliminate toxins. And then we give stem cells, then we give something to increase the oxygen and some other things. If there's an immune system reaction, like your immune system is attacking the kidney, we give other things to suppress that reaction. So note, kidney patients are told to not take salt and potassium-rich food. They can do that only if they have adequate amount of water and the water can be eliminated. Then they can take herbal therapy. But if they can do for that, they can follow that, don't give them any herbs because herbs are a rich source of potassium. So you can only take herbal therapy if they are taking adequate amount of water. They can only take water if they can eliminate it. And if they do eliminate it, especially from the skin, they better take salt to replace the sodium that is lost. So that's very, very important. Okay, channels of elimination, well, you use the skin, the lungs, the colon, the kidneys, the liver, the lymph nodes. You do steam bath, you do sauna, you do charcoal wrap, cellophane wrap, you buy a sauna suit, And if the sodium is going down, you can actually go to the beach and soak in there for 2 hours, 3 hours. The salt will pull water from your body, including creatinine out. So if you cannot go to the beach, you get a plastic, what do you call that, drum, put it with water, put several sacks of salt, soak in there for 1 hour, 2 hours every day. That's a passive way of sweating. It's definitely cheaper than dialysis or transplant. Okay. So I had my patient buy a inflatable pool, kids pool. They would soak in there. They're wearing their swimsuit and they're enjoying it. Very enjoyable thing. Okay, you can use mud packs. You can use charcoal packs. There are some machines in the market. They call foot detox. So many things can be used, can be utilized. Then deep breathing exercise, enemas. So we do coffee enema, we do charcoal enema. We give them something that will make them eliminate toxins more. And then we have them liver detox. If you eat your meal before 6 or blend your dinner, then your liver can do a good job of cleansing at night. And then we do other alternative therapies, which are a little bit more detailed. So physical therapy, the job is to stimulate sweating, stimulate bowel elimination, make him move his bowels better. So diet is low fat, low protein, lots of complex carbohydrate, 2 solid meals, and dinner before 6, or you can blend your dinner. In between, you got your herbs, blood cleansers, liver enhancers, kidney enhancers, heart and blood pressure control, and then you do the physical aspect. The physical therapy, which stimulates sweating, making wee-wee and poo-poo and everything, because you're trying to clean up as fast as you can. Then you watch closely the sodium, potassium regularly, and maybe creatinine weekly, and maybe CBC monthly. When you see things are balanced and stable, then you can do away with some of these things. Like if your creatinine is really high, then you have to work more. But if it's low, maybe just exercise or walking is good enough. So it depends on how high the creatinine is. Just like when you're doing dialysis, if it's really high, they do it 3 times or 4 times a week. If it's not that high, then they do it twice a week. So you can adjust. Okay. There is a poem that the patient once made. And this is a nice poem, and I'd like to share this with you. It says, "Last night as I lay sleeping, I dreamed that I died, or so it seemed. That I went to heaven, but only in my dreams." So he's a Catholic. Then he goes to St. Peter in St. Peter's Gate, and he says, there at the pearly gates, he said, "I must check your record. I must see, and please stand here and wait." And then he said, "Your record is covered with terrible flaw. On earth, I see you labored for every losing cause." Yan, ibig sabihin, his lifestyle was not good. You see, you drink alcohol and you smoke and drugs too. Fact is, you've done everything a good man should never do. Then he said, "We can't have men like you here. Your life is full of sin." And then he read the last of my record, and he said, grasped my hand, said, "Come in." He took me to the big boss. And then he said, "Take him in, treat him well. He suffered from kidney failure. He's done his time in hell. You want to go to heaven? Have kidney dialysis. Because you've been to hell." I would say, "Oh, poor guy, you're doing dialysis in hell. You can come in now." This may look funny, but when I shared this with a patient who is doing dialysis, he said, "Yes, doc, we are in hell." So, and all they had to do is learn how to eat properly, what to do, what they can do at home. And they don't need to be in hell. God did not place them in hell. God wants them to have longer life, eternal life. Our job as Christians is to be able to share with them that there is a God who hears and answers prayer, and that He can do other things. If they don't have the money for transplant, instead of transplant, why not rehabilitate? And there's nothing impossible. God is a God of impossible things. He takes broken things and fixes them. And I believe if the person has the faith, nothing can stop that faith. So may you have learned something in what we've shared to you before, like this. We've shared this in hospitals, in Hospital Manila, in the PITA Convention in Manila. We've shared it with a group of doctors of family medicine. We've challenged them to do this because people are doing dialysis left and right. They need hope. They need something else to do. And we are so blessed that we have this and that we can see God works in marvelous ways. May God bless us all.
View the whole Start a New program, starting with the opening interview with Dr. Samuel Thiessen, parts 1 and 2, and the closing interview. There are lectures on what is natural healing on Christianity, parts 1 and 2. God's marvelous self-healing body. Cancer, it can be prevented, parts 1 and 2. Alternative program for kidney disease. Diabetes. Whys and hows of detox. Learn about modalities used for healing such as body massage, hot stone massage, ventosa, charcoal pack, charcoal wrap, enema, and facial clay treatment. A video demo on how to prepare concoctions is also available. Watch the question and answer section recorded before a live audience. And enjoy the bonus sections on medical missionary work, also recorded before a live audience. Thank you, and may God keep you in good health.